Do you find you have a lot of young filmmakers that come to you for advice or for support, and what do you say to them?
I tell them, the first thing that I do is, I can't, I have to be honest, because it's, I always try to live by those natural laws, and honesty is one of them. And I prepare them for what it's like to be the only Aboriginal person on a film crew. I've been the only Aboriginal person on many films and in the newsroom. So they need to be prepared for that, because it's culture shock in many ways. It's like leaving your reserve to go into the city for the first time. I've been there too, being bussed in from my reserve into a white school, and knowing what it feels like to be the only Indian. Like, you feel like an Indian. If anyone ever wanted to know what it felt like to be an Indian, it's very uncomfortable, when people look at you differently. And I need my students to be prepared for that, but also to get past that. How do you win them over? Being able to be strong and confident with who you are as an individual, and being able to introduce yourself. And maybe they're looking at you a little differently because they want to know more about you. They don't know how to approach you. Be prepared to be the teacher. Know enough about who you are as an Aboriginal person so you can teach, and build that community, that bonding that needs to happen, cohesiveness that needs to happen on those circumstances, on the film set or in the office. And some of these students go back to their First Nations, take what they learn from New Voices and learn to promote their chief and council, change perception of their community, and go home and start interviewing elders and really capturing and retaining a way of life that is disappearing fast. So maybe they might not be working on a film in the next 5 years, but many of our students have gone home to capture the voices of some of those old ones that are leaving. That's all I can ask for. Then I've done my job. And I'll see them at different events, and maybe I'll be doing a story on one of the reserves, and they'll come up and say, "Hey, I just interviewed 50 elders, and you were right." It is about giving back to our people. It is about retaining and capturing those stories, and they feel good about themselves. That's all I can ask for, because maybe they might not stay in the industry, and that doesn't mean they failed. That means they know what their spirit wants. That's all we can do, right? We don't want them to stay in if it's going to tarnish, their spirit, if it's going to hurt their spirit. We want them to be able to honor and acknowledge who they are and live life to their fullest, to their potential as Aboriginal people. That's something we've never had, because we've always been afraid. Nothing is ever good enough. We're never good enough as a people. Always made to feel less than. Well, you can honor your spirit now. And you can acknowledge who you are, you can acknowledge your ancestors and move forward at the same time. Who would have thunk? But we're doing that now. We're able to do that, and we're able to do it as spiritual diplomats, just like what we once were back in the day. And they're able to give back to their community and retain those stories and be proud of who they are, and guide the chiefs, change perception, be liaisons. That's a great world. And the last 4 years, I've seen them. I have one of my students working at the Assembly of Manitoba Chiefs, guiding the provincial chief, Ron Evans, helping him maneuver and make decisions, and working with the media as a liaison. I'm so proud of them, because they're all doing different things at different levels of who they are as Aboriginal people. Some are still in the industry, some are producing their own projects now. One guy just finished a children's series. So I feel like a mother who is, having all these children, and they're all at different levels of their storytelling.
And do you feel it won't be that long until an Aboriginal producer or writer or director isn't the only one at an event or on a project? Soon, probably in, I'd say within 5 years for sure. Like it hasn't happened yet. And, the industry, like I said, it's quite tough, and it has a way of, it's can be very difficult on a person. Doesn't matter if you're Aboriginal or not. It's just a very difficult industry. You have to have a strong constitution, walk a certain creed in order to really make it in film and television. And I'm starting to see the diamonds in the rough now. I can probably pick out, the ones that are really going to be at that level where I can say, hey, let's do a project together. And I keep telling them that one of these days I want to co-produce with one of my students. That's my goal.
And, we're almost there. Some of them have brought stories and ideas to us that we can really develop, but it's ensuring that television is ready for it and the industry is ready to see Aboriginal people at their full potential, see us laugh, see us cry, see us love, see us, live. The industry, the audience needs to be ready for it as well. Right now, they're still happy with us smudging and doing this. And one day, they'll want to hear all areas of who we are and the dynamics of our people.